Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like something just didn't fit? It's not that you look bad, but there's something about your image that just doesn't reflect who you really are. Today, we're going to talk about that. About how a man can go from the before, that unintentional look, to an after full of presence without having to spend a fortune. I'll give you 5 tips that will help you understand what this physical and mental transformation is all about. But before we continue, let me ask you one thing. Subscribe to the channel. It's free, painless, and I promise your style will level up long before your credit card even notices. Tip number 1. Change your mindset. Everything begins in silence. In front of the mirror, wearing the same clothes as always. Pants that go with everything. A t-shirt that's lost its shape. Sneakers that have seen more battles than rest days. It's not that you don't care about your appearance. It's that deep down, no one ever taught you how to build an image with intention. Most men were told that dressing was something practical, not emotional. That being clean and matching colors was enough. But dressing well is something else. It's a language. Every piece you wear says something, even when you don't. Your clothes communicate your state of mind, your confidence, your way of being in the world. And that's the real problem of the before. It's not the old clothes or the dull colors. It's the absence of a message. The before is that stage when you dress to go unnoticed, to avoid mistakes, to stay safe. But what isn't seen isn't remembered, and what isn't remembered leaves no mark. Maybe you work long hours, you're short on time, or you think clothing shouldn't matter. But image isn't superficial. It's a silent tool. The world decides in seconds whether you project confidence, respect, or indifference. And it does so without hearing you speak. The before lives in subtle neglect. It's not obvious at first, but it's felt in your energy. Loose clothes, mismatched colors, worn-out shoes, they're small messages that say, "I'm not paying attention." And the curious thing is that this before isn't just seen in clothing. It's reflected in posture, in tone of voice, in the way you walk. Your style is an extension of your mind. And if your mind is on autopilot, your wardrobe will be too. Every transformation begins like this, with a mirror, an honest look, and the decision to stop dressing out of habit and start dressing with awareness. That's the real starting point, recognizing that neglect isn't comfort, it's a quiet form of disconnection. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about visually representing who you already are inside, but the world has yet to see. Tip number 2. Be practical. Every change starts with a simple question. What do I want to project? It's not about following trends. It's about finding your visual purpose. Ask yourself, how do I want to be seen? What image reflects who I truly am or who I want to become? What story does my clothing tell before I even say a word? You don't need money for this, just observation. Look at yourself in the mirror with honesty. Review your photos, your daily life, your style when you go out, work, and rest. Observe whether there's coherence between who you are and what the world sees. Many men are surprised to discover that their image doesn't represent them, that the person they show the world has little to do with the person they feel they are. And that's the exact point where change begins. When you recognize that your clothes, your walk, your energy, everything speaks, and you can take control of that language. Start by eliminating excess. You don't need a full closet. You need pieces that define you. Less quantity, more identity. Analyze colors, cuts, materials. Neutral tones and good fabrics communicate maturity, balance, and purpose. The right cuts show care, without the need to show off. True change doesn't come from spending more, but from choosing better. Think of every garment as a conscious decision. Does it add or subtract? Does it make you feel confident or just covered? That difference, however small, changes the way you walk, look, and speak. Because when you look good, your body feels it, your mind acknowledges it, and the world notices. That's the moment of change. It's not just about clothing. It's an inner transformation that starts on the outside and ends within. Changing your image doesn't make you someone else. It helps you remember who you are and show it with confidence. Tip number 3. Evolution. After change comes evolution. And this is the moment when you understand that image isn't just about aesthetics, it's strategy. When you start building your style with purpose, everything aligns. Clothes stop being a burden and become a tool. You learn to dress for any situation without losing your essence. It doesn't matter if you're attending an event, going to work, or just having coffee. Your image begins to have a coherence that communicates stability. People perceive you differently. It's not that you look more handsome, it's that you project clarity, and clarity always earns respect. This is when you start to enjoy the process. You begin to notice how certain colors enhance your presence, how a well-structured blazer changes your posture, how a simple but well-chosen piece carries more power than any expensive brand. You learn that elegance isn't about price, it's about harmony. A man with identity doesn't need visible logos. His style speaks for him. This after stage isn't about fleeting fashion, it's about personal evolution. It's balance between who you are and how you project yourself. Your clothes no longer control you. You use them to your advantage, and that's something you can feel. You dress differently because you think differently. You start paying attention to details: clean shoes, an ironed shirt, the right fragrance. Not out of vanity, but because you understand that small gestures create powerful messages. The after isn't a goal, it's a state. It's the peace of knowing that your image and your mindset are finally aligned. You no longer dress to please, you dress to express. You're not seeking approval, you're seeking coherence. That's the real luxury, being yourself, effortlessly. Tip number 4. Confidence is everything. There comes a moment when you understand that style isn't about attracting attention, but about leaving an impression. That difference is key. Men who learn to take care of their image discover that the goal isn't to dress for others, but to reinforce their own confidence. This is where what we might call the consolidation of change begins. You've gone from indifference to awareness, from awareness to intention, and now to mastery. You no longer choose clothes because they're trendy. You choose them because they make sense for you. You already know which cuts suit you, which tones reflect your energy, and what kind of clothes make you feel comfortable and confident. And most importantly, you understand that your style doesn't need to be perfect, it needs to be authentic. When you reach this point, you realize that style isn't about imitation, but construction. You start developing your own personal signature, something that sets you apart without explanation. Maybe it's a type of jacket you wear often, an accessory that identifies you, or a specific way of mixing classic and modern. That visual signature, though small, becomes your mark. And a solid personal brand has power. You don't need to say who you are. Your image does it for you. At this stage, the mirror stops being a judge and becomes an ally. You no longer look for flaws. You fine-tune your presentation. And something interesting happens. Confidence spills over into other areas of your life. You stand taller, speak clearer, feel more capable. Because style born from self-awareness isn't vanity. It's self-esteem in action. From here on, external opinions lose weight. Your clothes no longer seek approval, but coherence. You've learned that there's nothing more attractive than a man at peace with his image. A man who knows who he is and communicates it effortlessly. Tip number 5. New mindset unlocked. And then you arrive at the after. Not a superficial one, but a deep one. That moment when you look back and realize how much has changed since that first glance in the mirror. You're no longer the man who dressed without thinking, nor the one who hid behind comfort. Now you project purpose, and that purpose shows in how you walk, how you talk, how you present yourself to the world. You don't need expensive clothes, you need presence. The after isn't a final destination, it's a new way of living. You start noticing how people react differently, how more doors open, how conversations flow with greater respect. And it's not magic, it's visual and emotional coherence. You've learned that your image can be your ally if you use it wisely. You've discovered that elegance isn't about money, it's about energy. A man with purpose and self-care radiates something no brand can buy. And that's exactly what separates those who evolve from those who stay the same. In this after, style becomes a form of discipline. You no longer dress just to look good. You do it to remind yourself daily of the version of you that you've chosen to be. Every garment, every color, every detail is a silent affirmation of your growth. This is the end of the journey, when you realize that changing your style was only the beginning. Because what you truly transformed wasn't your wardrobe, it was your perception of yourself. And once that change happens, it never fades. From that moment on, every time you choose what to wear, you're also choosing how you want to present yourself to the world. And that choice, as simple as it may seem, is one of the most powerful decisions a man can make. So if you're still in your own before, don't worry. We all start there. But remember, it's not about buying more. It's about choosing better. Do it step by step, piece by piece, decision by decision. And when someone tells you they've noticed a change in you, smile. Because that will be the reflection of something far greater than your clothes, your personal evolution. And before you close this video, click subscribe. Small gesture, big difference. See you in the next episode of The Art of Being a Man.